happens?
Would you just take it easy?
No, you stay away from me. I'm calling the cops.
Hey, why are you... Calm down, man. Relax. Will you just try and relax, okay?
You leave Spinelli alone!
As I mentioned earlier, you will not be getting out of here tonight.
Okay, how bad is it?
It's too early to tell. The police officer in question, the detective David Harper, maintains that he had a clean shot at Zakara and that your actions enabled Zakara to escape and take a hostage. Now, in legal parlance, that's called aiding and abetting. And if Johnny Zakara kills anyone while at large, the charge against you could be as an accessory. It also means that if he kills an officer of law enforcement, the charge will be murder with special circumstances.
Against me?
I find it so ironic that with all of your past alleged crimes, you could now be facing a lethal injection for stopping a cop from shooting a love-struck 20-something-year-old girl.
Mr. Corinthos?
Miss Villeneuve? What'd you need to see me about?
Mr. Karpov wanted me to discuss the finer points of his deal with you.
Those are string beans, and I want them cooked.
Do you really want to draw attention to yourself like that?
Don't give me attitude, Claudia. You could see I'm not in the mood. Just tell me where your brother is.
Wow, that's really terrible. When did the professor die?
A couple of months ago. My sister and I, we have the apartment downstairs. We always used to hear the professor playing, then he stopped. The guy never went anywhere, not without letting us know. So I came up, knocked on the door, finally busted in. I found him dead.
How did he die?
Seemed peaceful. He was in his sleep.
That's nice. I mean, it's nice to know that the professor wasn't met with any sort of violence. He was truly a gentleman who, his life was all about music.
And his students. Matter of fact, I talked about them all the time, even the ones who'd left. Funny thing is, I don't ever remember him saying the name Joe.
I might add.
First of all, I would never leave you alone with a shirtless marauder.
You are a living room.
And secondly, I think we have little to fear from Dr. Hunter.
He's walking around without his clothes on in my living room. My living room! Are you going to tell me that you're in the wrong house?
No.
That's it.
Wait. He doesn't actually appear very hostile.
He's half naked claiming he lives here, Spinelli.
I do live here.
I'm going to call the hospital and tell them that you snapped a bolt.
I guess you didn't get my message about your new roommate.
So Mr. Karpov left your meeting believing that you had reached an understanding.
Yeah. I only want to work as a consultant. I'm willing to suggest transportation routes, public officials who may, take a liking to Mr. Karpov. I can introduce him to other parties who may share the same interest. But I will not be taking an active role. And this is important, a deal breaker. Mr. Karpov has to peacefully coexist with my old organization.
Mr. Karpov is not a man who takes orders.
Well, that may be a problem.
I haven't heard from Johnny yet, but I know that he's still trying to put distance between himself and the police.
If they haven't caught up with him already. He could be lying in a ditch somewhere after little Lulu ran off and left him.
Don't underestimate John, Daddy. He's capable of taking care of himself.
You better pray nothing happens to your brother. If it does, I will send you straight to hell.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and moan about my pain and grief, all right? I get it. I understand. Everybody suffers losses.
Doesn't make him hurt any less.
No, it's just... I don't know. I know. I've been very blessed throughout my life. I mean, a few years back, I was in a car accident down by the river. Lost control, flipped the car. There's no way I should have survived that. But I did. Same way Emily survived cancer. I fought so hard for her. Prayed so hard. I was so determined for her to try and take some strength from me. And she did. And I'd like to believe that's one of the reasons she pulled through. As crazy as that sounds, I believe that.
I think that sounds crazy.
But I really started to believe, Nadine, that the worst could never happen. It just couldn't happen. That no matter how hopeless things got, in the end, they turn around for Emily and me.
You and Emily shared a connection. The type of connection people would do anything for.
I know, Nadine, but she's dead. That's the point. That someone who's so kind and so generous and has everything to live for can be taken away from you so senselessly. So could Lulu.
You don't know that.
Well, Emily's death also taught me that you can run out of miracles. That the people that are so precious to you, the people that you do anything for, even die for, you're helpless to save them, really.
Just tell me the best case scenario.
I convince a judge that you were an innocent bystander who acted heroically and prevented an overzealous cop from shooting an unarmed hostage.
Okay, good. That's what happened. That's the truth. I mean, not the hero part, but
I
that's
reserve the right to apply any hyperbole I deem necessary to get you out of this. Unfortunately, you have an extensive police record. You have been tried on murder twice. You were convicted once. That was reversed. You were acquitted once, thanks to my brilliance.
Diane, I know all this. I know.
Any competent DA, and Alexis Davis is more than competent, is going to argue that you were in that squad room to help Johnny Zakara escape, that you furnished him the gun with which he took Lulu hostage.
Lulu brought the gun in.
Do you have any proof?
No, I don't. She's the only one who could have brought it in. The cops are going to search her. It's Lucky's sister. She killed Logan. She doesn't want Johnny to pay, and she freaked out.
Where do you think Lulu got the gun?
I don't know. Diane, Johnny, maybe? Edward Quartermain, she's living at that house. He's got a gun collection.
I can petition the court for a warrant. Determine whether or not Edward Quartermain is actually missing a gun. And let's just assume that he is. Then I will argue that Lulu Spencer acted alone, that she brought the gun into Johnny, at which point the case against you for aiding and abetting completely falls apart.
No. Don't go for the warrant, no.
I am not suggesting that we give up Lulu Spencer as the individual who killed Logan Hayes. I'm simply saying that the courts will be far more lenient on a hysterical girl.
Okay, did you just hold on? You just told me that helping Johnny escape makes Lulu an accessory, right? So if Johnny kills a cop, she could get murdered with special circumstances. Is that right?
That is an extreme interpretation.
Diane, yes or no?
It's possible.
Okay, don't tell the cops anything. Lulu's a hostage. That's it. End of story.
It's a good thing that you pay me so much money because you make it extremely difficult to mount a competent defense.
I owe it to Carly and Spinelli to cover for Lulu, okay? Just find another way to get me released, please.
That may not be as easy as it sounds.
Robin, I am sorry. I don't care how crazy Mac is making you. You can't let Matt Hunter rent out Georgie's room.
Listen, I'm sorry that you had to find out this way.
You could have sent leaflets or maybe Chris Martin to sing me a telegram, but it's still just not going to happen.
There's a rental agreement.
You don't really have the right to make that kind of agreement.
It does seem a bit strange, and I mean, no disrespect to the burgeoning one, but even slightly presumptuous to have rented out Wise Georgie's room without warning.
All of Georgie's stuff has been put into storage, and the room has been repainted, and redecorated.
Yeah, because Mac was convinced that you were going to move back here once that baby's born.
Right, but I am fine in my own apartment. My baby and myself will be very happy. I was just trying to stop Mac from hounding me and end the discussion.
So, because you don't want to deal with Mac, that gives you the right to rent out my sister's room to a total stranger?
Come on. No one wanted that room to be a shrine to Georgie, even you.
That's actually true. I've heard you say as much.
There's always people on the hospital staff looking for affordable housing. People that spend their days saving lives. So I put up a bulletin in the locker room, and I don't know. I just thought that Georgie would have liked her room to be used for such a purpose.
That is indeed the spirit of who Wise Georgie was.
Well, Wise Georgie's not around anymore. Just her sister, the selfish bitch. And that egotistical jerk cannot stay in her room.
Well, that egotistical jerk has put down a deposit and has a key.
Unfortunately, Robin legally can't make
Commissioner
that.
Scorpio signed a lease, and he owns the house, so unfortunately, you have no say in the matter. I live here. Get used to it.
It's just the waiting and the not knowing that's killing me right now.
And some people are more comfortable taking action.
People like you.
And you.
Well, hey, my instinct is to hire an army of PIs, track Lulu down and get her out of this. But Lucky thinks it'll put her in even more danger. You have an opinion on that? I'm sure you do.
Well, I know you want to fix this for your sister, like any big brother would, but I think you should listen to Lucky on this one. It might just make things worse.
Worse? How can they get any worse? My little sister's on the run with her boyfriend, who happens to be accused of murder and is armed, and is it safe to say dangerous?
But not to Lulu. You don't actually think he's hurt her.
No, I mean, I said I don't think he would hurt her deliberately, but bullets don't discriminate. They don't care if you're an innocent bystander. I mean, again, think of Michael Corinthos. Oh, Lulu, she did this on impulse, I know it. She just went charging into this mess because she's got our mother's heart and her father's recklessness. See, she's one of those people. She's one of those people who believes that in the end everything's gonna be all right. Love conquers all. And nobody ever dies. But they do die.
Bedtime?
Elizabeth, has Lulu made contact with you?
No. Why? What's the matter?
She came down to the station to see Johnny. Before I knew it, he had a gun to her head and was using her to escape.
Oh my God, he took her hostage?
Johnny is a murder suspect, and the force is going to be going after him, guns ablazing. The only thing I can think about is her safety.
I can't believe he took her hostage. She was so sure of him.
Nicholas thinks that Lulu was in on the escape, that she and Johnny are working together.
Ah, yeah, I can believe that. She would do anything to help him.
Okay, if that is true, she may make contact, but I doubt she'd be willing to risk calling her brother the cop.
So you think she's gonna call me?
She trusts you. She may think because of what happened with you and Jason that you'd be more willing to understand her situation and able to help her.
Well, I just got out of surgery. Let me see. She's tried to call. I have 3 messages.
Please let that be Lulu.
Where do you think you're going?
Oh.
that song?
It's a song by Billy Joel. It's called Nocturne. I didn't learn it with the professor, but I learned it because of him. He taught me how to appreciate music.
Can't you see he's telling the truth?
What I can do is I can arrange meetings with congressmen, but I'd advise Mr. Karpov to do that, not to do it in person. And if he does, make sure there's a lot of security going on.
Yes, I'll be sure to convey that to him. I have to wonder, though, why is a man with your connections, with your strength, available to act as a facilitator when it's so obvious that you should be in charge?
Well, this is an unexpected pleasure. Hi, I'm Mr. Corinthos' attorney, Diane Miller.
Sasha Donev.
Donev? That name sounds familiar. Have we met?
I don't believe so.
I pride myself on knowing everyone that Mr. Corinthos works with.
Well, we don't work together.
Oh, really?
Not yet.
So how did you two meet?
You wanted this to happen. That's why you were so sloppy getting rid of Logan's body. You want Johnny out of the way.
If you actually believe that, then you have lost your mind. I would never hurt John. He's the one person in the world that I actually love.
You don't think I see what's going on? You don't think I know why you didn't come to me for help with this mess?
I didn't come to you, Daddy, because you're a poor excuse for a father and Johnny hates your guts.
And that's your fault! You poisoned my son against me, you lying slut!
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by Ultima Dental. Yearly oral cancer screening can save your life. Love your smile with Ultima Dental.
Instead of the son I wanted from my first wife, I got you, a poisonous tramp. I should have drowned you the day your brother was born. I should have known you'd try to destroy him.
You know what? You might want to lower your voice. There's people trying to eat here.
Hey.
I understand this is a restaurant.
You don't tell me what to do. You don't tell anyone what to do. You got no power anymore, no respect.
No respect. You call this respect? Yelling at a woman, your own daughter? You think that's respect?
This is none of your business.
No, you're scared because your little boy is
scared.
You shut your mouth. And you shut it right now. I'll dump you out of that damn wheelchair and you'll crawl out of here like a cockroach. Need a ride home?
Hey, I've seen reports all over the news that Johnny Zakara escaped police custody after taking Lulu hostage.
Yeah, well, I think it's fairly safe to say that, unfortunately, Lulu helped him stage the whole thing. I don't think she's in any direct danger from Johnny, but...
But she's in the middle of a police manhunt now, and naturally Nicholas is worried about his sister, so she's trying to support him.
I would do the same thing for Lucky if I could. I mean, I know he's probably scared to death for his sister, and my first impulse was to actually go to him, but we did just stage a very public breakup for a good reason, because infiltrating drug smugglers is not going to be easy if I am a cop's girlfriend.
Sam, you put yourself in that situation, you're ended up in more danger than Lulu is.
Yes, I do know that, but it's all going to be worth it if I can now, whoever is responsible for putting fake drugs into hospitals and clinics like yours, and that's that.
Someone actually hire you to pilot one of the boats that's carrying these drugs?
Not yet, but I do have some leads. Good ones, actually. I mean, I think this will actually be my way in, but Lucky is my first responsibility. I want to know if he's okay.
Was Lulu?
No, sorry.
It's a long shot.
Your sister is smart. She knows what it means to be on the run. One of the advantages of being Luke Spencer's daughter, right?
Yeah, well, I thought she was thinking like my dad. But she's not.
Why do you say that?
Because I was at the station when she showed up to see Johnny. I saw her. I talked to her right before all this happened, and I could tell that something was very wrong, and I should have done something about it.
You couldn't have known the two of them were going to break out.
She was tense. She was fidgeting. It's almost when she started talking to me, she was lost in her own head. She didn't talk to me. It's almost like I've seen this before. It just reminded me of
What?
Right before she lost her mind.
It's obvious that you are who you say you are. Sorry I didn't believe your story.
Well, you can't be too careful.
Sad but true. Linda.
Yeah. So, you won't turn us in for staying here?
Well, the apartment's been closed up ever since the professor died, and he never mentioned having any family. Nobody's even come by to claim his stuff. So, if he said that you can stay with him, then as far as I'm concerned, you're free to use the place.
Oh, thank you.
I really appreciate it.
No problem. Got any work lined up yet?
Not yet. I was gonna start looking tomorrow.
Do you teach piano as well as you play it?
Sure. Joe used to give lessons all the time back in Chicago.
Great. My sister Lourdes, she used to take lessons from the professor. He said that she had promise, and she loves music, so I want her to keep it up. I'll pay for it.
I'll be happy to teach her, but you don't have to pay me. I owe you.
Joe, New York is a lot more expensive than Chicago, bro. Trust me, you're gonna need the money.
All right, then. Another way to pay you back.
Good enough. I'll have Lourdes come up and say hi to you guys, okay?
Thanks again.
What are you doing? Getting the hell out of here before he calls the cops?
I realize now that when I rented you the room, I didn't tell you the truth, that was my cousin Georgie's room.
My sister, who just recently died. And the idea of a stranger living in her room is unthinkable.
Your family issues are not a concern to me. I made a deal in good faith.
Are you always this obnoxious? Does it come naturally to you?
Yeah, it's clear that the dispassionate doctor missed the sensitivity portion of his training. See, Weiss Georgie's family still struggles with her loss, as do all who knew her.
This is a great house on a nice, quiet street. I've got kitchen privileges and a garage that I can park my car for next to no money, which is great because I'm going to be paying back my school loans for the rest of my life. I moved in, I've unpacked. I'm here. Let's get used to it.
Wow. I just unleashed a complete jerk on the entire family. I am so sorry.
It's not your fault Matt Hunter is a complete ass.
You were just acting in the spirit of your cousin.
And trying to keep Mac from kidnapping your baby. I get it.
Yeah, but now you have to deal with that.
Don't worry about it. Pretty sure Spinelli and I can find a way to send Dr. Hunter screaming into the night.
Well, Lucky seems to be doing a lot better than his brother.
Really? What does that mean?
All right, well, when I found out that John took Lulu from the police station, I went down there and went off on Anthony Zakara.
Oh.
Yeah, attacked a man in a wheelchair, not one of my finer moments.
Ouch. Yep.
Lucky was handling things during his job. I mean, he seemed worried, and I'm sure it would have helped to have had you there, but, you know.
But what? He doesn't really need me?
Yes, he does. He cares about you, Sam.
Yeah, I know, Nicholas. I don't need to constantly be reminded and reassured. Oh, great. I just sounded like one of those whiny, pathetic women, didn't I?
No, you sounded like a woman in love.
That was quite a passionate display that your employer put on. Mr. Corinthos is a passionate man. The last of a dying chivalrous breed. Yes, but to take on Anthony Zakara in public. Oh, so you know who Anthony Zakara is. As does anyone who reads a newspaper. So his daughter, Claudia, she must be quite special to Mr. Corinthos for him to come to her rescue that way. Mr. Corinthos is not a man easily intimidated, Miss Donna, but I suspect you already know that. Now, what business did you say you were in again? Coffee. I represent the consortium of growers who are interested in doing business with Mr. Corinthos.
Come in for a minute. Thank you for stepping in back there.
Paul was out of line.
Would you really have dumped him out of his wheelchair and made him crawl like a cockroach?
Yeah, it's what he deserved.
Yeah. He deserves a lot worse than that, but doesn't mean he's gonna get it. I mean, people are afraid to stand up to my father, you know. So, why did you?
I've been screamed at. I don't like it. I mean, not in public, but close enough to know how it feels. And, for a long time I couldn't fight back, and I always promised myself that I would shut him up. So I wouldn't have to listen to that garbage. And I won't, but I just want to get something clear with you right now. I did for you what I would do for anyone. Your father was wrong. I will not tolerate it.
The guy that used to scream at you, did you make him crawl?
The guy that used to scream at me. The guy that used to scream at me is dead.
Thank you, officer.
Why'd you come back? They found Lulu and Johnny?
Not that I know of, which is a good thing. Especially if Johnny's out there committing armed mayhem somewhere.
Okay, so I'm still not getting out of here tonight? Is that what you're telling me?
Despite your lack of cooperation, I am using my best efforts to get the charges against you dropped. But I do need your input on another matter. Do you think Sonny would ever cheat on Kate?
What?
After our last extremely frustrating legal consultation, I felt the need for a very strong, very dry martini, or 3. So I called up Max, and I asked him to meet me at the Metro Court. Unfortunately, since Max has returned to Sonny's employ, he doesn't have time anymore to socialize. Yet another glaring example of Sonny's extreme selfishness. You know, I would think that Sonny would be so happy that Max has come back to work for him that he would encourage a personal life. But I digress.
What are you talking about?
I am unsettled. Not on my behalf, but on behalf of Kate Howard. See, I always thought that when Sonny cheated on her, it would be with Carly.
Okay, you still haven't told me what Sonny did.
Sonny was at the Metro restaurant having drinks with a very attractive blonde. And when I walked over to say hi, his attitude and body language told me I had just caught him in the middle of doing something illicit.
Gosh, I have been so worried about you. You must be going crazy about Lulu.
We put out an APB.
Okay.
It took some doing, but we got the state police to drop the authorization on the use of deadly force. There's no guarantee that they won't be a shootout, but it reduces the chances.
Okay. All right. Well, do you have any leads?
Nothing, which doesn't make it feel any better, but you know what? You just can't disappear like that. The way Lulu and Johnny did without having plans in advance. You know what? I didn't want to believe it, but I'm starting to think that Lulu was in on this escape. She may have even planned it.
Our pictures have been all over the news by now. It's just dumb luck that Sal didn't recognize us already, but he will.
Okay, Sal doesn't strike me as someone who's willing to turn anyone.
He was so suspicious.
Because he liked Professor Siegel. He didn't want anyone breaking in and robbing the place, but he bought our story.
No, yeah, he believed you, but still, he was so suspicious.
As far as Sal knows, we are Joe and Linda from Chicago.
Yeah, but that's all going to change when your mugshot is plastered all over the news. I'm not going to risk us getting caught.
Okay, then we might as well stop running. Because every time we stop for gas, every time we pass someone on the street, we risk someone recognizing us. Hey, we're relatively safe here. We might as well stay here and formulate a long-term plan.
I'm so scared. We wouldn't have broken out of jail if it wasn't for me.
I'd do it again.
If the police catch us, if anything happens to you.
We're not going anywhere. Okay, we're safe. Relatively. We got each other. That's all that matters.
What are you doing? I didn't want to make Robin feel worse, but I have so much going on in my life right now. I can't deal with Matt living in my sister's room. He's a miserable excuse for a human being.
But a first-rate physician. Oh, well, and while I'm grateful for the doctor's medical efforts, I will help you rid him from the premises.
Of course he will.
You know, we could find him alternative accommodations at a discount. Stone Cold owns many properties. Or maybe a discouraging visit from one of Stone Cold's many protectors of the night.
No. I can't have Jason's people showing up here threatening to break Matt's kneecaps. I'm just gonna have to figure out another way to get rid of him.
Between the two of us, we should be able to come up with something. After all, we are the resourceful duo that helped track the text message killer through the city sewer, no less, risking life and limb.
And a very expensive pair of shoes. I really like those shoes.
So after all that, dealing with Dr. Dispassionate should be a snap, right?
Spinelli, thanks for rushing to my defense earlier. You really are my best friend.
I was spot checking the meds, making sure that none of them were counterfeit.
Well, we're already checking everything as it comes in, so this is going above and beyond.
I would like to avoid handing out any more useless meds. We haven't done such a good job of that so far, and I'd assume you'd want the same thing.
Saw the light on back here. Is there anything I don't know about?
Matt and I were just talking about spot checking the meds to make sure that we don't endanger any more patients.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad the two of you are on top of it. Never be too careful. Right?
Look, I wanted so bad to go to the police station to be with you, to give you whatever support that I could possibly give you. I know you must have been going crazy not having anyone to talk to.
I know why you stayed away. After all the trouble that we went through to stage a public breakup.
Okay, but listen, there is good news because I think I'm making progress. I think I'm really close to being hired on one of the ships that's doing smuggling.
Do you know how much I hate you're putting yourself at risk? I mean, you're the only one that seems to be making any progress.
Yes, I know, but do you realize the only thing I hate is spending time away from you?
So do I. But the truth is, there's nothing that I can do for Lulu at this point, so...
So, we are going to continue pretending that we're broken up. I can do this as long as you know that you are in my heart.
I have nothing but admiration for Kate Howard. Professionally, because I care so deeply about fashion, and she is both a leader and an icon. Not that you would understand.
Probably not.
But I also happen to care about her as a friend. And she has given up so much for Sonny. She would never have left Manhattan or Couture if it weren't for him. Now she is putting her reputation on the line to launch Crimson from the hinterlands. And she's putting her heart on the line by agreeing to marry Sonny. And he is doing something behind her back.
He had drinks with a woman.
Sasha Donev. You ever heard the name?
No.
Neither have I. And I have drafted every deal memo and contract for that coffee business ever since Sonny put me on retainer. So there is no way that she was representing any coffee consortium.
Is that why Sonny said he was meeting her?
Sonny didn't actually say much. Anthony Zaccara was sitting at a table in the restaurant, and he was screaming at his daughter, and Sonny went to rescue her.
Tell me about that. What happened?
Well, I assume that Anthony was venting his worry over Johnny, and he said something to the effect of how he should have drowned Claudia the day that her brother was born. And so Sonny got up, went over, intervened, and escorted Claudia from the restaurant.
I want you to call Max right away. I want you to tell him that Sonny had an altercation and a confrontation with Anthony Zaccara. I want you to up the guards, and I want him to double-check the security. Anthony might not be as calm as you like to think.
Here you are in lockup, and you're worried about Sonny. And I just have to wonder if the positions were reversed. Would Sonny do the same thing?
Diane, please, just take care of it for me, please.
I'm calling Max now. But you never answered my question. Do you think Sonny is sleeping with Sasha?
Sonny's gonna marry Kate.
Ever since Michael was shot, a lot of Sonny's actions don't make sense. And I'm sure you've noticed the same thing.
You know why my father lost it like that, right?
Because he's a pig.
Well, he's a pig who doesn't like to be out of control. My brother escaped from the PCPD tonight.
With Lulu Spencer as a hostage.
Please, that girl is nobody's hostage. She's the one who brought the gun into John and probably came up with the whole idea in the first place.
Regardless, if anything happens to Lulu, there's going to be a line of people looking for revenge.
Are you going to be one of them?
Hey, Luke Spencer and I go way back. And I've known Lulu for a long time, and I'm telling you, if she's harmed in any way, it's going to be a problem.
You cannot punish my brother for his stupid
Forget your brother.
mistakes.
Forget your brother. You need to figure out a way to get Johnny to turn himself in before he gets shot, or worse, kills a cop. And that's murder.
With special circumstances, yeah, I know. But Johnny's not an idiot, Sonny. He's not gonna shoot a cop.
If he's as smart as you think he is, he wouldn't be on the run. Your brother's in serious trouble. He's not thinking clearly. As usual, you need to think for him.
Why do you even care?
I don't care. Like I said before, I've known Lulu for a long time. I don't want her to have to watch her boyfriend get shot down like a dog.
I should be loving every minute of this. These are the stories I grew up on. My parents fell in love, running from the law, overcoming all odds.
You jumped in pretty quickly to help me cover. Maybe it is in your blood.
And why do I feel like I'm drowning? The only time that I haven't been terrified since this whole thing started is right here, right now. But I can't help thinking that it's not going to last.
Don't worry about what happens next.